Tonight, on the Einstein Factor, a prosecutor in command of the Hornblower novels, a filmmaker taking us on a strange journey with the Rocky Horror Show, and a clerk doing the Paul Keating subject we had to have. Welcome to the Einstein Factor. Tonight, a rollicking adventure full of music, sailors, transvestites and political intrigue. It's my lounge room all over again. Let's meet three people who I love to have in my lounge room at every possible turn. It's our Brains Trust tonight, Dr. Tanveer Ahmed, Dr. Gail Jennings and Matt Parkinson. Now, not many stand-up comedians can claim to be a journalist, a psychiatrist, a Prime Minister's future leader of Australia, an AMA national representative, or a United Nations ambassador. Well, they might claim it, but it wouldn't be true. Whereas with this fellow, it actually is. Making his Einstein debut, please welcome Dr. Tanveer Ahmed. Welcome.
Pleasure. Yeah, thanks, Peter.
That's a fairly impressive rundown.
I think when you get fired from everything you do very rapidly, you build up a set of credits very quickly.
Now, what switched you on to stand-up? Was it just wanting to hang around dysfunctional, crazy people?
No, it was a dare initially, but I don't know, it was so exciting. You get such a buzz.
It is.
And I liked being abused over time, so...
The masochistic psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Dr. Tanveer Ahmed joins us on the Einstein Factor tonight. Welcome. Our next trustee is a doctor, but doesn't have a surgery, a waiting room, or a 15-year-old copy of New Idea. So we'll have to ask someone else if Jason and Kylie ever got married. Please welcome the always brilliant Dr. Gail Jennings, returning again. Gail, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
You've never thought of doing stand-up, have you?
No, I'd be appalling.
Why would you be appalling?
I wouldn't be funny. I'd just stand up. And I was actually thinking, I hope none of your patients are in the audience when you're doing your stand-up. They might recognise their innermost secrets. That would be awkward.
That would be. It'd be a nice place to get material, though, you'd have to admit.
Oh, it'd be fantastic. But you can get that from friends, too.
Well, I think we should get Gail Jennings down to a stand-up venue sometime in the near future and force her onto stage.
Oh, well, thank you. All right, then we'll all have to come and laugh.
All right, we will. Gail Jennings joins us again on the Einstein Factor. And our final trustee... You're talking stand-up, you're talking ageless. Seriously, none of the information we have on him states his age. Please welcome the immortal captain tonight, Matt Parkinson.
Thanks, Pete. Thank you. And Pete, as captain of the Brains Trust, I just want to point out that we are not coming back to your lounge room at any time in the future. It's not that we didn't enjoy the venture and the romance, but the rollicking took me days to get over that rollicking, mate.
All right, what about cavorting?
No, I don't think we're up for that, speaking as a
Raunchy. That's a bit raunchy.
No cavorting.
No cavorting. All right.
6:30 slot.
Exactly right. Too early on a Sunday for cavorting. Thrilled to have them on the Brains Trust tonight. Please give them a big round of applause. And let's now meet our contestants tonight. Please welcome Paul Yovich, a Western Australian public prosecutor who has played Representative Bridge, but is best remembered by us as the runner-up in the third season of the Einstein Factor. Welcome back, Paul.
Thanks, Peter.
Tell us tonight, your special subject is?
C.S. Forrester's Hornblower novels.
Now, this wasn't your special subject from last time?
No.
What was your special subject from last time?
A series of science fiction novels that almost no one had ever heard of called the Gap series.
Right.
I hope a few more people had heard of them afterwards, but...
All right. But your subject tonight is the novels The Hornblower series?
Yes.
All right, here we go, Paul. Your 90 seconds begin... Now, the first three novels of the Hornblower series were written in which decade of last century?
The 1950s.
1930s. Horatio Hornblower ultimately achieves the ultimate rank of Admiral of the what?
Fleet.
Correct. First of the two novels to be published with titles featuring a ship's name was Hornblower and the what?
Atropos.
Correct. As mentioned in the title of the relevant novel, Hornblower first joins the Royal Navy with what rank?
Midshipman.
Correct. In that sixth novel, it's established that Hornblower was born on which date?
July the 4th, 1776.
Correct. Hornblower first meets his love interest, Lady Barbara Wellesley, when she's a passenger aboard which ship?
The Lydia.
Correct. In the novel Flying Colours, the Prince Regent bestows upon Hornblower the Order of the what?
The Bath.
Correct. Organised by Hornblower, naval hero Lord Nelson's funeral takes place in what year?
1805.
Correct. Hornblower and his wife Maria lose 2 of their children to which disease?
Smallpox.
Correct. Suffering from paranoid schizophrenia is which captain of
Sawyer.
the ship? Correct. In which novel is Hornblower given command of the ship HMS Sutherland?
A Ship of the Line.
Correct. What's the first name of the Irish revolutionary executed in the short story Hornblower and the Widow McCool?
Pass.
Barry. Published after C.S. Forester's death, the last Hornblower novel is numbered where in terms of the storyline's chronological order?
4th.
Correct. What kind of sailing vessel is Commander Hornblower's HMS Hotspur?
A sloop.
Correct. In the novel The Commodore, our hero meets which Tsar of Russia?
Alexander I.
Correct. That's 15 questions. 1,300 points, Paul. Well done. All right, true or false time, Paul. The idea is the same since we last saw you. One of the ships sailed by Horatio Hornblower is the which Endora? True or false, Paul? What do you want to do?
I'll pass it to the Brains Trust.
All right, Brains Trust. One of the ships sailed by Horatio Hornblower is the which Endora? True or false?
I think it's true.
Yes.
It rings a bell.
He sails about. I mean, he gets from boat to boat. He just leaps aboard other people's boat and takes them over, Hornblower, quite
pretty
often.
active.
So
He does.
I've,
Well,
we're going to go
I
with the
think it'd
true.
go through. I think it'd be true.
We'll go with the
frankly.
true.
Right.
They're going with true, Paul.
It's nearly true. The
Nearly.
ship's name is Witch of Endor.
Witch of Endor is the name. Endor, of course, the mother-in-law on Bewitched. Different. All right, Paul, 1,300 points at the end of round 1. Well done.
Very impressive, Paul. Sorry, we weren't quite as impressive as you were. You obviously know the subject and have developed quite a fondness for it. Are you
Yeah.
a seafaring man?
Not at all. I
So,
don't-
what have you picked up from the novels? If I told you to splice the main brace, would you be able to do that?
I know in broad terms what you're talking about. I think, in fact, there's a scene in one of the novels when the captain asks for the main brace to be sliced, but everything I know about sailing I learnt from Hornblower.
So as long as Hornblower's done it, you could do it too.
Well, I mean, I vaguely understand when the sea battles are going on. I can understand now, after having read them a lot of times, more or less what's going on, but why is still a bit of a mystery to me.
Okay, I think I'm with you on that. We're all in the same boat, as you might say.
As it were.
Oh, bravo. All right, Paul, sit back, relax. You can trim your mizzen mast or whatever you do in your spare time as we meet our second contestant tonight. Say hello to Amy Knight, a South Australian honours student in screen production who loves the sport of roller derby and believes that she is the reincarnation of glam musician Mark Boland. Hello, Amy.
Hello, Peter.
Your special subject for us?
Is Rocky Horror in its many shapes and forms.
All right, the Rocky Horror Show. Now, Mark Boland was the lead singer of T-Rex who died in a car accident, am I correct?
That's true.
What makes you think you're his reincarnation?
Just his general sort of fabulousness is something that I try and bring to my everyday life, much to the disappointment of most people around me.
Well, I don't think it should be a disappointment to bring an air of fabulousness to your life.
Oh, thank you. I'll try to bring some to yours.
Thank you very much for bringing fabulousness. All right. Amy, here we go. Rocky Horror Show is your special subject. Good luck. Your 90 seconds begin now. Which character was played in the film and originally played on stage by English actor Tim Curry?
Frankenfurter.
Correct. The Rocky Horror Show opened on the London stage on June 19th of what year?
1973.
Correct. What is the two-word stage name of the man who wrote the stage show's music and lyrics?
Riff Raff.
Richard
Oh,
O'Brien.
Richard O'Brien.
Joining the cast for the original US production in LA, performing the dual roles of Eddie and Dr. Scott, was which rock star?
Meatloaf.
Correct. What two words does the character Brad sing immediately before the phrase, I love you?
Damn it, Janet.
Correct. The original Australian production of the show premiered in Sydney in 1974 at Glebes what cinema?
Pass.
New Arts. Rounded to the nearest 10, the show's original run in London comprised how many performances?
200.
2,960. Brad and Janet are a naive young couple from the small town of Denton in which US state?
Ohio.
Correct. Played on screen and on stage by the show's creator was which character?
Riff Raff.
Correct. The contraption called a sonic transducer is described as an audio vibratory physiomolecular what?
Transport device.
Correct. In the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Sweet Transvestite is the what numbered song?
4th.
5th. For which year did the show receive a Tony Award nomination in the category Best Revival of a Musical?
1991.
2001. When Magenta says she asks for nothing, her master Frank replies, and you shall receive it in what?
Abundance.
Correct. One of the taglines for the film is a different what?
Set of jaws.
Correct. Also co-writing its screenplay with Richard O'Brien was which Australian director of the movie?
Jim Sharma.
Correct. That's 15 and 1,000 points. Well done. Got through them all. True or false time, Amy. Here we go. Brains Trust there to assist. Starring in the show's New Zealand production as Frankenfurter was Gary Glitter. True or false, Amy? What do you want to do?
Why don't the Brains Trust give it a red hot go?
Why don't they? Give it a red hot go. Starring in the New Zealand production as Frankenfurter was Gary Glitter. True or false?
We would have heard. I love Rocky Horror, and I've not heard that.
I think Gary Glitter would prefer Australia, frankly.
Might have been in his descendancy rather than ascendancy.
So, Gail, you're saying you're such a big fan, you'd know.
I think so, yeah, I'm sure. I would have been so horrified at the inept choice.
I try and avoid Gary Glitter's work in general, so the strength of that will say false. Claire.
False. Brains Trust is saying false. Amy, what would you have said?
Pretty sure it's true.
It is true, unfortunately.
I'm sorry,
Never mind, Amy. 1,000 points at the end of round one. It's a good score. Well done. Let's meet our third and final contestant. Dave Gunter, an account supervisor and regular contributor to the opinion pages of the Sydney Morning Herald, who always seems to be asked for money on the streets. Welcome, Dave.
Hi, Peter. How are you?
Very well indeed. Thank you for joining us. What is your special subject?
The life and career of Paul Keating.
Have you met Paul Keating?
No, I've seen him speak several times. Been within a few feet, but I've never actually met him. No.
What do you think you'd say to him if you met him? Would you be all sweaty palmed? He's a hero of yours, I'm taking?
Oh, I'm quite fond of the fellow, yes, for sure. I think I'd just say congratulations on leading the country so well for the period that he was allowed to. And then disappointing that he lost to such a poor character afterwards, but never mind.
All right, then. All right, Dave, your special subject, the life and career of Paul Keating. Good luck.
Thank you.
Your 90 seconds begin now. In Parliament, to whom was Keating speaking when he famously said, I want to do you slowly?
John Hewson.
Correct. Keating was born in Sydney on the 18th of January in what year?
1944.
Correct. After serving as his treasurer, Keating succeeded whom as Australia's Prime Minister?
Bob Hawke.
Correct. As a teenager, Keating managed which rock band?
The Ramrods.
Correct. In 1975, Keating married Anita van Yersel, a Dutch flight attendant, then with which airline?
Air Italia.
Alitalia.
Alitalia.
Based in Sydney's western suburbs for 27 years, Paul Keating's constituency was the federal seat of what?
Blaxland.
Correct. Causing much consternation was what word Keating used to describe Malaysian leader Dr Mahathir?
Recalcitrant.
Correct. On the 20th of December 1991, Keating became the what numbered Prime Minister of Australia?
24th.
Correct. Keating led the Labor Party to victory in a federal election in March of what year?
1993.
Correct. In his victory speech for that election, Keating famously described the win with the words, this is the what?
The sweetest victory of all.
Correct. As Treasurer, Keating was instrumental in an agreement between the ALP and the ACTU called the What Accord?
Pass.
Prices and incomes. How old was Keating when he was first elected to the House of Representatives?
25.
Correct. Located in the Sydney suburb of Bankstown, where he was born, Keating was educated at which college?
De La Salle.
Correct. In his second and successful leadership challenge against Prime Minister Bob Hawke, Keating defeated the incumbent by how many caucus votes?
15.
5. Who was Keating's deputy prime? That's it. David, 1,100 points. Well done. True or false time? Keating described the performance of opposition leader John Hewson as, quote, like being flogged with a warm lettuce. True or false, David? What do you want to do?
I'll pass it to the Brains Trust.
All right. Keating once described the performance of opposition leader John Hewson as being flogged with a warm lettuce. True or false?
Look, he did often have food references. I mean, one remembers the souffle comment as well. But I don't actually remember him ever mentioning a lettuce.
No, he was flogged with a
wet lettuce.
Wet.
Warm lettuce is your place with the rollicking and all that.
Yeah, but we're not
Wet
going
lettuce. I'm pretty sure it was being flogged with a wet lettuce, wasn't it?
lettuce?
I'm pretty sure it's a wet lettuce.
There. All right, we'll go with Captain.
False. Thank you.
False. Brains Trust is saying false. David, what would you have said?
I would have said false.
Would you have? The answer's true. John Hewson as like being flogged with a warm lettuce. All right, Dave, let's have a look at the scores now at the end of round one. Amy's on 1,000 points, Dave's on 1,100 points, Paul's got himself the lead, 1,300 points. All right, it's round 2 of the Einstein Factor, which means 1/3 down and some more to come. Maths never really a strong point of mine. Luckily, we have 2 doctors and a quiz champion here to help me with, you know, that sort of thing. Our cryptic subject titles tonight are Not Odd, Taking a Risk, Beasts with Burden, Indian Summer, Numbers Game, Peek at the Moon, a PC question, In the Shade, Faster, Higher, Stronger, Paul.
I'll go faster, higher, stronger.
Faster, Higher, Stronger it is, the question tonight. Which is not an IOC code that represents a national Olympic team? Is it A, IRL, B, IRN, or C, IRQ? 5 seconds. Brains Trust.
So it's the 3-letter code they're identified by. So I think Australia gets AUS and Austria gets AUT. So it kind of relates to the native language of the country.
Right.
I'm pretty sure IRL is Ireland. Yes?
Yes. Iraq is C.
So is B Iran? So one of those, B or C, is likely to be a trick.
Yes, because they get
Was there a
because you have
national-
countries like, say, North Korea that calls itself the Democratic People's Republic of Korea
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and becomes PRK or something.
I don't think...
Iran would be IRN.
It could be the
Because it's-
Republic. Yeah, it doesn't actually look familiar
Exactly,
to me.
I think it's
No,
more, yeah.
yes,
It's
it's
like
doesn't
a
look-
revolutionary republic or something like
Yeah,
that.
it doesn't look
Okay.
familiar to me. I'd go with B.
Yeah, we'll go with B. Thank you, B.
B, Brains Trust. Going with B. Let's see what our contestants selected. A B, a C, and a C. The correct answer is B. Well done, Paul, and well done, the Brains Trust. Iran is actually IRI. I believe once upon a time they were IRN, but no more. They are now IRI. Amy.
Let's go with Beasts with Burden.
Beasts with Burden. Here we go. Critically endangered is the Australian marsupial Gilbert's what? Is it A, Betong, B, Potteroo, or C, Quokka? 5 seconds. Brains Trust.
I think it's the Betong.
The quokka is not very well treated, but it's not endangered. It lives on Rottnest Island in WA.
I think that there are quite a few Potteroos in Tassie, which doesn't necessarily safeguard them. I think it might be the Betong. What do you reckon?
I think it's choice. I remember when I first heard the word quokka, to me it sounded like a sort of like a nickname for a duck, or like a kind of real sort of Aussie nickname for it.
Good on you, quokka.
Good on you, quokka.
But
yeah, they've had their share of rough treatment, but I like
Gilbert's
Betong.
Betong.
I like Betong as
Gilbert's
well.
Betong.
Gilbert's
I think it's
Betong, they say.
A.
They say A. The Brains Trust. Let's see what our contestants selected. A B, a C, and a C. The correct answer is, in fact, B. It's the Potteroo. Well done, Paul. Gilbert's Potteroo. Well done. All right, David, over to you.
Indian Summer.
Indian Summer it is. The question. Which is the name of a 2020 cricket team in the Indian Premier League? Is it A, Chennai Chargers, B, Delhi Daredevils, or C, Mumbai Moguls? 5 seconds. Brains Trust.
I remember there was a Deccan Chargers, so A is definitely out. I don't remember a Moguls, to be honest, like Mumbai. I'm sure it was something else, to be honest. Even that was owned by a Bollywood. One of the Bollywood actors owned that team. I don't think it was Moguls. So my guess would be B, but I will defer to our
Right,
team
you so
captain.
think that's the only real name of an actual IPL team?
Yeah,
Delhi
I think so,
Daredevils,
yeah.
Really? Okay. I'm happy to go with that. You sound like you're the full bottle. We'll go with B. Pete.
All right, B it is. The Delhi Daredevils. Let's see what our contestants selected. A B, and a B. Everyone got it right. Delhi Daredevils. B is correct. Well done all. All right, for Brains Trust virgins, this is the new part of the program where the Brains Trust get to select their topic of choice.
They're all a
We
bit
let our
obscure.
new...
Yeah, I think so.
You
Why
may
not?
have a
There you go.
choice.
I'll wade in. Just in tune with having a go. We'll go for taking a risk.
Taking a risk. Here we go. Which is one of the territories in the board game Risk? Is it A, Germany, B. Russia, or C. Ukraine? 5 seconds. Which is one of the territories in the board game Risk? Brains Trust.
I wouldn't think Ukraine would warrant a territory, frankly.
There are quite a number of territories on there, aren't there? 40-something?
Yes, 40-odd territories. There's 6
one of the
continents,
territories.
40-odd territories. It's quite a complex game. I've got 2 mates who've been playing this one-on-one for about 20 years and one has never beaten the other one, but they still play.
But I think we'd go for Germany because I think it's more likely to be the Soviet Union. And rather than have Russia and Ukraine on them separately, they're more likely to have it as one block.
OK.
That's what I'd go for.
All right, we'll go with A, Germany.
All right, they say A, Germany. Let's see what our contestants selected. A C, a B and a C. The correct answer is C. It is Ukraine. Well done, David and Paul. There we are. Let's have a look at the scores and where they stand at the end of round 2 tonight on the Einstein Factor. Amy is on 1,050 points, David is on 1,250 points, and Paul's got himself the lead at 1,600 points. This could be the most important moment in one of our contestants' life. If they don't get out much. I'm holding in my hand 15 questions. Dr. Tanvir Ahmed, on the other hand, is holding the hands of Dr. Gail Jennings and Matt Parkinson. So let's find ourselves a winner. Paul, Amy and David, good luck. Here we go. Referencing an island of Massachusetts, USA, is the opening line of many lyrics. There once was a man from where? Brains Trust?
Nantucket.
Correct. The black, white, Indian, Javan and Sumatran are the 5 living species of which huge horned beast? Brains Trust.
Rhino.
Correct. Which 1997 sci-fi comedy concerns the adventures of Agent J and Agent K? Paul.
Men in Black.
Correct. At the 1996 federal election in Australia, Prime Minister Paul Keating was defeated by John who? David. Correct. Name either century during which the stories of C.S. Forrester's Hornblower, Paul.
The 18th.
18th and or the 19th. Who, what, where, when? I measure just a kilometre in length. Reg Ansett once owned me. I was originally called Westmole Island. My name is synonymous with a pleasant fantasy. Brains
Hamilton?
Daydream.
Oh.
You just said that.
I have to take the first answer, whichever one it was. The answer's Daydream Island. Already a multiple world champion when she won the women's triathlon at the Beijing Olympics was Australia's Emma who? Paul.
Snowsill.
Correct. Let's have a look at the scores. Amy's on 1050, David's on 1350, Paul's on 1900. A very popular song from the musical The Rocky Horror Show is the what warp?
Time
Amy.
warp.
Correct. What large group of card games whose object is to form sets of matching cards includes canasta, mahjong and Paul?
Rummy.
Gin Rummy, the answer is Rummy. Well done. In the Rocky Horror Show, Dr. Frankenfurter tells us he's a sweet transvestite. Amy?
I was going to say transvestite.
From transsexual where? Transylvania we needed. I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it, is a quote mistakenly attributed to which great 18th century French philosopher, Paul?
Voltaire.
Correct. Prime Minister Paul Keating infamously described Australia's 1990s recession as the recession we had to... Paul?
Have.
What? Have is correct. The longest running children's program still airing on US television is which show, Paul? David.
Sesame Street.
Of Jim Henson created Muppet characters, Sesame Street, correct. For the loss of a ship under his command, literary character Horatio Hornblower faces a mandatory court what? Paul.
Marshall.
Correct. The flags of Kuwait and Jordan typify national flags that bear the 4 pan-Arab colours of black, white, red and what? Brains Trust.
Green.
Correct. That's the Einstein Factor for tonight. Paul with 2,300 points is tonight. Well done, Paul. Congratulations. Please also thank our other contestants tonight. Amy, you finished with a score of 1,050 points. Thank you so much for joining us. And David, with 1,450 points, thank you for being a part of the Einstein Factor tonight. David, Amy, and of course our champion tonight, congratulations to Paul. You now, Paul, are only 2 wins away from the grand final. You've been in this position before. Does it feel any different this time around?
I was much more nervous before tonight this time round, actually. But I feel all right now.
Well, you should feel better, Paul. You've now got a win under your belt and 3 weeks before we see you again. Paul, 2,300 points. Please also thank our Brains Trust, who have performed brilliantly again. Tanvir Ahmed, Gail Jennings and Matt Parkinson were our Brains Trust tonight. And before we now look to our viewers' question for this week, let's find out what last week's answer was. The question we asked, which was from Karina Doran of Perth, what is the only bone in the human body not connected to another bone? The answer is the hyoid. Oh, Paco knew! Paco knew!
I was going to say the funny bone.
The hyoid bone, situated in the neck between the chin and the thyroid cartilage. That's it. Tonight's viewer question is this, and it comes from Robert Lutton of Newcastle. What number between 1 and 100 is 1 more than a square and 1 less than a cube? That answer can be found on our website, abc.net.au/Einstein Factor. Now lemon-scented. Very few people are doing that with the internet, but we are first. Thank you for watching the Einstein Factor tonight. Please join us next week as Douglas Jardine and the Third Reich watch some OC on the telly. Thank you for your company and good night.